If you're joining the United States Army or looking to know more about basic training, or you just became a recruiter, well, you've come to the best channel here on YouTube, but you be the judge. Maybe you're struggling, confused, and simply just looking for the most up-to-date and, more importantly, accurate information. Now, I'm pretty detailed, so please bear with me. Real quick, if you don't know who I am, my name is Louis Swartz, a full-time recruiter here with the New York Army National Guard by day, conveniently located here in New York City, but on my free time, I come on here to help thousands of people just like you every single day make better decisions throughout their journey process, get better prepared both mentally and physically for Army basic training, recruiting, and so much more. Now, I have over 24 years of service with over 20 years of recruiting experience, and I am drill sergeant qualified. Now, real quick disclaimer, this channel is a personal channel and doesn't reflect the official views, opinions, nor is it supported, endorsed, or sponsored by the Department of Defense, the United States Army, the Army National Guard, or any other government entity for that matter. My videos represent me, myself, and I, based on my own experiences, observations, my personal opinions, and thoughts. With that being said, this is the biggest advantage that you have here on this channel is that I have access to all the updates, current guidance, and I have all the right people at the right places to address your most desired questions and concerns. Now, I have a ton of experience and knowledge to share with you, but I don't know everything, and I promise you that I have enough humility to let you know when I don't know something, and I will be more than happy to get to you the correct response. All you have to do is DM me on Instagram at Team Swartz or email me at teamswartzmedia@gmail.com. Now, my mission is to help you join for your reasons and your reasons alone based on accurate and up-to-date information. Now, honestly, I don't care which component of the Army that you join or which U.S. military branch that you join, just as long as that you join if you think it's a great option for you, of course. Now, I want you to make the best decision for you because you only have one life to live, and I want you to live your best life. This is not a decision to take lightly, so please do your homework, do your research, and make a well-informed decision. So the million-dollar question is, why are you here? Now, I honestly believe that you're not here by mistake. So if this is you, please hit subscribe, click the bell icon, turn on all the notifications so that you don't miss anything. That way, you will be notified when I go live, post new videos, and post updates. However, if you're new here, welcome, and comment down below which state you are tuning in from, and if you're one of my loyal Team Swartz squad members, you know the deal. Drop that hashtag Team Swartz down below. Now, get your comments and questions and concerns in the chat box as soon as possible because I respond to your comments in order as I receive them, working from the oldest to the most recent comments. Now, I don't skip anyone on purpose, and if I do, just type, I think my comment was skipped respectfully, and I'll scroll back up and look for it. And after all, I am human, but do keep in mind that I do have some keywords and phrases blocked for various reasons that may cause your comment not to be hidden and not be visible by me. If I'm not moving fast enough through the comments, feel free to super chat me any amount for me to immediately and directly respond to your commented question or concern. When I do receive a super chat, super thanks, super sticker, or any other paid channel member on my page, after I finish my latest comment, I will scroll down to your latest paid super chat or whatever and immediately address your paid comments. Now, understand, I do this as a hobby and I don't do this as my job. So please, be respectful to me and others within the stream, or you will be blocked. Thanks for watching. Here we go. Let's go.
Here we go. What's up, everybody? Let me know if it's still echoing in the chat. That would be greatly appreciated. I see in the comments here that people are saying there's an echo. Let me know if my voice is echoing. No more echo for me. All right, cool. Here we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Recruiting Ain't Easy podcast. My name is Louis, and here on my free time, I help you navigate the joining process and to get better prepared for Army basic training. Yes, by day, I'm a recruiter full-time for the New York Army National Guard, conveniently out of New York City. But quick disclaimer, I don't represent the DoD, the United States Army, the National Guard, or any other government entity for that matter. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it. But first, before we do that, I have a huge announcement. From the bottom of my heart, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who has contributed and helped out my family in times of need. We raised over $3,000 to date to support my family when my mom passed away recently. So I appreciate you guys. I will be conducting this like normal. And with that being said, oh yes, huge shout out to Army content creator Christopher Chaos. How do I say this? He contributed a large sum, and I was not expecting that at all. And I appreciate you if you're watching in or tuning into this live stream. So I just want to say, from my family to yours, thank you so much for supporting us in these hard times. But with that being said, we're gonna get right into the stream. You guys already seen the video prior to that, so I appreciate y'all. Starting with Luis Rodriguez with the hashtag Team Swartz of the evening. So I appreciate that. He says, hope all is well. Drop it in to show support. What is the peanut butter shots? And is it true that it makes your butt and leg very painful for a few days to a week? And yes, it will be annoying type of pain, but not excruciating pain where you can't move around or do anything, but it will be tender to touch and you will feel it, but it's nothing that you can't endure. But if you want to know what it is specifically, let me see if I could research my script for my reception video, because I talk about the shots in that specifically. Oh, that's different. Well, here it is. I think it's this. Let's see. I'll be here forever looking for it, but it's in this video. I'll post it here if you want to watch it. It's about reception. Obviously, ignore the COVID references because that was filmed during the time period of the Rona. Hopefully, we don't have a Rona 2.0, but yes, it can be quite uncomfortable and painful at first, but after 2 or 3 days, you'll be fine. So you'll be all right. We got Eric Hammond saying, commenting for support. I appreciate that. Salute to you. Anyone else, please go ahead and get your comments in there early. Like the live stream if you can. That tells the algorithm that you guys are enjoying this. So I appreciate that. If you're not already sharing the live stream with others, that'd be great. So if you're in the DEP program, the delayed entry program, or the recruit sustainment program, for those of you that are in the National Guard, share with your battle buddies. I appreciate that very, very much. Frank Pratt says, hello. We got Let's Go from Anakin Skywalker. Appreciate you. Frank Pratt, I am doing all right. A little tired today, and I apologize for not streaming on my normal night of the week, so I appreciate that you guys are actually tuning in. So I appreciate that a lot. I want to join the Air Force. Excellent choice. Let me know in the chat box why you want to choose the Air Force over anyone else for that matter. Doesn't matter, okay? I'm not going to pick on you. I mean, it is the Air Force. But seriously though, excellent choice. Let me know why you're choosing the Air Force over everyone else though. Genuinely interested in hearing your response. The Adden Violet says, I am the only, echo. Hashtag Team Swartz coming in from Anakin Skywalker. Appreciate that. Frank Pratt says, I lost weight. I'm down to 225. Out freaking standing. That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. I'm actually starting my fat loss journey starting Monday. This coming Monday, I'm going to start the 75-day hard. So if y'all want to follow me on Instagram at Team Swartz, I'll be probably posting more often about it there. 75 hard, if you're not familiar with it, it requires 2 workouts a day with the minimum of 4 hours in between the 2 workouts, minimum of 45 minutes each, with one being outdoors, rain, snow, sunshine, hot, cold, doesn't matter unless there's a tornado or earthquake or hurricane or forest fire. You're out there like swimwear, making it happen, getting that 45-minute workout. Then you got to read 10 pages of something that's teaching you or learning something. Drink a gallon of water a day, take a photo a day, and all that good stuff. So it's like 75 days to instill discipline, something I've been lacking. But between my mom passing away in September and my surgery a little over a month ago, almost 2 months ago now, removing my gallbladder. I've gained some weight, guys, and your boy needs to get back into fitness, because lately I've been fitting as a pizza in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, Benjamin Karen says, just enlisted in the, what's ME? No, it's not Maryland. Is that Maryland? Army National Guard as a 68 Whiskey combat medic. Shipping out in July for the Arms 2.0 program. Looking forward to it. Got assigned to the Mountain Infantry Unit, quarter mile from his house, which is a plus. Yes, it is always convenient when it's close by. It's one of the reasons why I live where I live, next to where I want to live next to, out of pure convenience for the job. So without giving up OPSEC, I'll just put it that way. But let's just say I'm pretty close. But with that being said, awesome. Congratulations to you. Do what you're told. You know what? Instead of looking over here, I'll just put it back over here on my teleprompter and be able to look at your smiling faces over here. That was the whole point of getting the teleprompter, so I could look at you intimately. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? All right. I don't know. Oh, I lost my spot. Uno momento. Oh, here we go. Heyo, from Rach. What's up? What's up? Welcome to the stream. Finally, the best time of the day, man. You compliment me way too much, man. I appreciate that, though. Much love from New York. We got New York from Santino. What's up? What's up? Thank you for tuning in. Assassin says, hey, Swartz, went to MEPS 2 days ago, and now progress has been slowed down until I get a disqualifying factor taken care of. No one warned me that MEPS is 80% waiting. Oh, yeah, man. Welcome to the military. I almost said army, but welcome to the military, where you will learn, hurry up and wait. Hashtag I'm just saying. Sorry to hear that. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. The Adden Violet says, what is the process for a current National Guardsman who wants to get his or her GT or ST line scores higher? The Advent Violet, are you by any chance nearby a military installation? Let me know. Like an active duty regular army base. Are you nearby? Santino says, is it just me or is it lagging? Yeah, let me know if it's still lagging. Appreciate it. Thank you. User guest, most annoying recruit that you ever had. All right. I only have one super duper annoying recruit. And in my 20 plus years of recruiting, never have I ever legitimately contemplated risking my career to Spartan kick this recruit in the chest. I don't think we have time to talk about it, but let me know in the chat box if it's still lagging. The Adden Violet. Well, then you might want to direct message me on Instagram. Due to OPSEC, I'm not going to share what I want to say publicly, but all right, good. So that means you're near West Point. Awesome. And on Fort Hamilton is an education center. And I'm not sure how Fort Hamilton is doing it now, but the gentleman who runs the education center now currently on Fort Hamilton is an alcoholic. And he'll sometimes do the training, sometimes he won't. He usually gets it all set up and then cancels last minute and makes an excuse. At least that was my experience with a few of my soldiers over the years. And personally talking with him in passing when I used to eat breakfast nearby base where he would walk to for lunch and breakfast. And you could just smell the alcohol pouring out of his pores and on his breath. Nice guy. Love the guy, but he cancels way too much on you all. But basically what you want to go to the education center on Fort Hamilton is behind the Reserve Center on the second floor in the same building where the daycare is. So where you see the garage doors on the left-hand side, it's in between the garage doors and the side of the building. That's where you'll find the main entrance. Go up to the second floor. And I forgot his name, but anyway, you want to talk to him about the BSEP course, BSEP. It's a 3-week course, and I believe you can do it online now, but you have to do the test either at Fort Hamilton or in West Point. West Point, you might be waiting a little bit, obviously, because there's a higher volume of people going. But between you and me, West Point is more reliable, and she makes sure that if you're locked in, you're locked in. So you might have better luck getting it done faster up there than on Fort Hamilton, but you can try either one of those locations and see what happens. Or get them both set up and first come, first serve. So whoever actually follows through to get it done, then make it happen, if that makes sense. Do you all really want to hear my story about the most annoying soldier? I feel like I need to do a dedicated video about her. I'm not going to say her name. I don't want to get in any trouble, but she probably is not going to be in the National Guard much longer, to be perfectly honest with you. She was AWOL for a state mission. But yeah. All right. So because you guys are asking, only because you guys are asking. So I have to figure out how I'm going to say this without giving out personal information and getting in trouble. But this particular person, I did not initiate the entire enlistment process. It was a freebie from the boss, and I didn't know anything about her. But long story short, she probably should have never joined the National Guard, and she probably should have went regular Army or not joined at all. And in hindsight, I could say that she's not a good soldier for the military, but she became homeless. So she agreed to leave the apartment without having to go through the eviction process, which she didn't tell me until last minute before she shipped. And she agreed to leave the apartment and accept funding, whatever it's called, to vacate the premises instead of paying back rent. And helped her move her stuff into storage, got her to the hotel so she could ship. And she goes to training, and when she got back, I got her temporary housing on a nearby military installation, which was only supposed to be for the weekend. She was supposed to work on getting an apartment or a temporary place to live, or find a more permanent solution to that particular situation, and look for a job, because apparently she never informed us that she didn't have a job. So I had her sit down for literally 4 or 5 hours with the Citizen Soldiers for Life program, and they tried to facilitate the homeless shelter and cheaper options of getting a room or an apartment or a temporary place to live. And none of those options was anything that she was willing to do, which was a whole bunch of red flags. And I don't know, it was just a hot mess. And she tried to become a squatter on a military installation, and it really royally upset and peeved the senior leadership on this military installation, really making us and myself look really, really bad. It was an unfortunate situation that she was in. I'm very, very empathetic for her, but somehow in myself and us helping her, trying to get her to help herself and to see the bigger picture, all she was focused on was getting into one particular college, and that's all she cared about. Like, she was willing to live out of her car just to get to this one college somewhere here in New York City. And her priorities were so messed up. Communication was like next to nothing, downright disrespectful, cursed me out in Spanish. And it was the most awkward, annoying, and frustrating 30 plus days before she finally got an apartment and left this military installation. And due to the level of disrespect and some things I can't share online, she legitimately made me feel like I wanted to Spartan kick her in the chest. And in my 20 plus years, like I said, never ever have I ever felt like that towards any one of my recruits. But I kept it professional the entire time. I was praised for it by my leadership on my level of empathy and level of self-control, despite everything that had transpired. So I wish I could go into more, but if you know, you know, but I guess you don't. So I can't really go into too many more details, but yeah. I'm too old for the regular army. Oh, sorry to hear that. Yama Grizzly says, do you think that they will get rid of the first 100 yards and go back to more intense reception with the new administration and them raising the standards? They're definitely going to be raising the standards, but as far as like getting rid of the first 100 yards and possibly bringing back the shark attack, not happening. The first 100 yards is actually more physically taxing and demanding on you than the traditional shark attack that they did away with. Denise, what's up? What's up? I'm here. I'm new here. Welcome, welcome. Let me know what state you're tuning in from. I appreciate you. Slump says, Swartz. User guest, I'm going to come back to you because I just realized I had a super sticker or something from Christopher Golovich. So I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thank you for supporting the channel. And also, if you have a question or something like that you want to ask, I'm going to try to pay attention to it on my iPad here to see if you post something. But let me know if you have something to add to that. I don't know if it was a super sticker or a super chat, but is my feed glitchy? Like, am I glitching? Do I sound okay at the very least? I know it looks visually glitchy on my iPad. I'm fine. Okay. Maybe it's just my iPad. Maybe because it needs to be updated. All right, cool. Cool beans. Appreciate you. All right, I'm going to scroll back up to where I last left off with user guest. But thank you so much, Christopher. Appreciate you. So user guest says, how do you deal with stress? For me, I'm not able to do any of the work and feel just exhausted to do anything. Well, one of the good things about being in the Army is that we teach you a lot of resiliency. So you're going to get resiliency training and Army basic training, if not every week, every other week at minimum. And whether it's spiritual, physical, mental, whatever, they're going to teach you how to deal with and cope with the stress levels that you're currently experiencing. And for me, I just mentally have to tell myself if it's something that's beyond my control and I can't control it, just to let it go, let it roll off your shoulder. However, if you have the ability to impact it negatively or positively, obviously positively address it. But if it's something that's within your control, address it as you see fit. Don't let things fester. Obviously, I don't know what's stressing you, so I can't really give you any more details than that. But if it's beyond your control and you have zero ability to impact it one way or another, forget about it. Forget about it, as they say here in Brooklyn, right? But yeah. Benjamin said it's Maine. Oh, my bad. Your fault. Appreciate you tuning in from Maine. Frank says, what? You're going in and out. Okay. Seabass Diaz says, can someone please explain how to go on the border mission in the California, please? And thank you. It's probably going to be on Tour of Duty, the website. If you're in the military already, then get with your unit and get onto a government computer so you can get onto tour of duty. Sorry, hang on one second. I gotta see if my settings are okay. All right, good. That's how you do it. Tour of duty. Yes, Andrew. I'll give you the short answer, but if you want the more in-depth answer and free programs to utilize to get in better shape, then definitely check out that video I just posted into the chat box on how to prepare for basic training. But you're gonna wanna mix up your running, all right? So if you have a basic level of fitness and you can complete 2 miles, then one day you're gonna test yourself running 2 miles in your shortest time possible. It is you versus you. And you wanna try to beat your run time from the week prior. And keep track of your best run time. And then on a second day of the week, because you're gonna prioritize running before shipping. Strength training, you could do it if you want, but it's not necessary because you're going to be doing a lot of that and a lot more of that in basic training versus cardio. So cardio is where most people struggle. So on the second day of running in the middle of the week, you're going to run 3 to 4 miles as a fun run. Throw on a podcast, some music with some headphones in a safe environment, and just go out there, and it doesn't matter how slow you go, all right? Just have fun and enjoy that run. And then on the third day, you're going to do about half a mile to a mile to warm up. And then you're going to do 10 wind sprints. Do 1 or 2 at like 50 to 75 max effort to warm up your hamstrings. And then repeat that 10 times at 90 to 100% max effort for 30 seconds. And then you're going to walk for 60 seconds. And again, repeat that 10 times. That's called 30-60s. That's what you'll do in the beginning of Army basic training and throughout your training experience. The longer you do it, eventually it'll be 60, 120 or 180s or something like that. It's like sprinting for 60 seconds and walking for 2 minutes, and then repeat that. I think it's 120 seconds. All right, so go check out that video. Sage Lucas says, after passing the GT score, after passing the ASVAB, GT score to be in the office, then I will. Let me read this to myself. All right. If I understand your comment correctly, all right, there's a few things I think that you're trying to say in here. And all right, so it looks like you want to be an officer and you need a GT line score of a 110 or better. So if you do end up joining from the jump as a commissioned officer or 09 Sierra option, right, as an OCS candidate, then you won't be doing AIT. You'll do basic training and then OCS. And if you're joining the Guard and later on you decide that you want to go active duty, you can switch by going active duty. And it pretty much is this process, but you'll be going through the HRC to make that happen as a commissioned officer. But if you're an enlisted soldier and you want to go active duty, then that is the exact process right there in that video I just posted. But other than that, I think that's what I got from what you said. Anakin Skywalker says, I'm in California. If I was in the National Guard, is there any bases here in Cali or would I have to be elsewhere? There are National Guard bases throughout California. We're all over the place. And with the Army being the largest branch out of all the military, we have a lot more locations compared to other branches. So definitely get with your local recruiter to find out, all right, where your local location is and what MOSs are in that location. Oh, look, Christopher, here's your comment right here. What is the best job to have for a year when trying to join the military? So Christopher, answer me this. Are you asking me what job you should have before joining the military, or what job you should have when you join the military? Because I'm not understanding the 1 year portion of your question, because your minimum contract, depending on whether you're going guard or active duty, would be like 2.5 to 3 years. And if you're going active, it's either 2, not including the training period. That's why I said 2.5, or a 4-year contract. If you want to know the different contract options, this is the video you're going to want to watch. Coming into the chat box. Christopher also says, I'm a year off medication. I have a year that I need to do to have a job that will make it 2 whole years. What is the best job to have to be able to put in, I guess, a 2-week notice if I make it to MEPS? Well, the job is irrelevant. Oh my God, your comments were literally right above your super sticker. I apologize, Chris. All right, so depending on the condition, yeah, you'll have to be off of medication for 2 years before you can join with a medical waiver, obviously. And as far as what job you can get right now, I guess that's what it sounds like. In the meantime, before you're eligible to be able to process, I really don't know you personally to know what your interests are, capabilities are, experience, or what your resume looks like. But I think that if you, depending on where you live in the country, if you live like in a urban area, check to see if you have a program called Workforce One or Google Workforce One, and see if there's any online services that will be able to help you look for a job in your local area. Aside from that, I really don't know, man. I apologize, but good luck to you. I'm talking about the Air Guard. All right, good stuff. We got Los Angeles. That's what I'm talking about. At 36 years old. I don't know if the Air Force will take you at 36 years old, but you could definitely ask them. Abby says, hello with the hashtag Team Swords. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I watched your waiver video for advice and was looking for a psychiatrist to do a psychological evaluation, but I'm having trouble finding one in network. Do you think that it would be okay to do an evaluation with a psychologist instead? Or do you think that it will hurt my chances? So one thing, I'm not sure if I was clear about that in my video, but it has to be done and conducted by a psychologist. So yes, if you can find a psychologist, then that's what you want, not a psychiatrist. So it has to be conducted by a psychologist. And that more than likely, well, it depends on your MEPS, honestly. But yeah, the more medical evidence that you have to prove that you're okay, then the better. Piney Woods Forest says, I have earned veteran status. I also had Army case number to upgrade to honorable discharge. Turned in proof of evidence a couple of weeks ago. My battle buddy is my witness. He is a sergeant now. Outstanding. I don't have any idea to what that relates to because this is your first comment tonight, but I'm happy that you upgraded your discharge information, it looks like, and you got your veteran status. That's what's up. Kahi says, flying from, I'm not even going to say that, somewhere in Hawaii, it looks like, for meds tomorrow at 39. Wish me luck. Good luck. Make us proud, man. Hopefully it all works out for you. May the MEPS gods forever be in your favor. Nick says or asks, do you know how soldiers in the Army band or military band in general like their job? Guard, reserve, and active duty. I'm interested. For those that, I mean, I've contracted 2 people in the last 20 years into the band, both in which was within the last 5 to 8 years. They're still doing it, so I'm assuming that they like it because they're beyond their 6-year contract. But you definitely would be better off asking those who are in the Army band to figure out if they like it or not. If you play instruments, then you're probably gonna like it because you're gonna travel a lot, which would be pretty dope. But other than that, I really don't know because the band is not near me. It's almost 2 hours away from where I'm at. YC210 says, when getting taped for enlistment, what is the max waistline can be? I was told 44 inches, but I look like the standard is 41. I'm 47 and a half. Honestly, it's going to depend on your body composition, how tall you are, whether you're a male or female, and all that good stuff. But understand that the 09 Mike program, the ARMS 2.1 program, will allow you to be no more than 8% over your maximum allowable body fat. So if you're just trying to make tape, then that's one thing, but the 09 Mike, it offers a large, excuse me, a large, I don't even know what word I'm looking for. A large gap, basically. But what I would recommend is that you get with your recruiter and actually get measured to see where your body fat is when you calculate it. That guy says, if the doctor prescribed you whatever that is after MEPS, got doctor note, will they let me take it during basic? Let's see what that is. What? Hang on. What? Medically speaking, what is DHEA? Question mark. While my computer is trying to research it, what's it treat? What's it supposed to treat? Medically speaking, what is DHEA?
Medically, it's often discussed in the context of aging, as levels of DHEA naturally decline with age. Some people use DHEA supplements for various health reasons. It's important to consult with a healthcare provider before starting supplementation.
What does it normally treat?
DHEA supplements are sometimes used to treat adrenal insufficiency, depression, and symptoms of menopause, such as hot flashes and vaginal dryness. It's also been explored for its potential to improve bone density, boost libido, and enhance mood and memory, though more research is needed to confirm these benefits. Always consult with a healthcare provider before using.
Oh, low test. Got it. All right. So yeah, unfortunately, you're gonna have to be off of that for 6 to 8 weeks, and a letter from the doctor stating that you don't need it, but you were taking it to basically increase your testosterone just to feel better. Like it was more like elective rather than a requirement. And then again, be off of it for 6 to 8 weeks, and then you should be fine after that. If it was for that purpose, what you just said. All right, good stuff. Okay. My son is going to Fort Sill in July. Would parents be allowed to join the boot camp graduation? Absolutely. And I hope that you do. And also understand that the day before the graduation ceremony is actually the best day to spend quality time with your loved one. All right. So understand that the day prior is family day. So around 8:30, the trainee will receive a block of instruction and can be signed out by a 18-year-old or older, a family member or friend, and you guys can keep them until about 6 or 8 o'clock or whatever they're dictated by their leadership. And then you'll bring them back at the end of the day. You can eat lunch off base. You can bring them back to the hotel. They just can't drive any vehicles or machinery or anything like that. They got to stay safe. Obviously, no smoking, drinking, drugs, and all that good stuff. And yeah, you can take them back to the hotel and spend some quality time with them. And then the next day will be the graduation ceremony. As long as the graduation ceremony is outdoors, there is no limit to how many family members and friends can be there. If it is due to inclement weather and restricted to an indoor graduation, then they will have a limit to how many family members per trainee can be inside for the ceremony. And you'll have about 45 minutes to a few hours at the parade field where the graduation ceremony was held to spend some extra time with your trainee before they have to go back to the barracks and get ready to ship off to the next training location. But yeah, and congratulations to your son, you and your son.
If you need any more information or have other questions.
Sorry, I had to turn off Perplexity AI. Let's see. Zenny says, "Hey, Sergeant, just scored a 70 on the ASVAB yesterday, qualified for 35 or 37 Foxtrot. Any tips to pass the selection process? My recruiter said if I don't get selected, I'd become 31 Bravo. Is that true?" I don't even know what 37 Foxtrot is. That's the first time I ever heard of it. Uno momento, por favor. Man, you guys are asking me some great questions. You're stumping me. This is great. I'm learning too. So let's see what Google says. MOS 37 Foxtrot is question mark. Psychological Operations Specialist, PsyOps. I don't know why he says 31 Bravo, but I mean, it's possible. But if that is the case, would that be a deterrent to you? And are you going active duty? Because I don't think PsyOps is in the National Guard. Not that I'm tracking anyway. Let me know in the chat box. Yama Grizzly says 2. So was there a 1? I don't see anything before that. So Yama Grizzly, if there was a number 1 comment that you sent, then I didn't receive it in the chat box. So I'm not ignoring you or skipping that particular question. So with that being said, so I can enlist into the Marine Reserves under age cutoff in 3 years from now. Does National Guard have, or National Guard time count as prior service so I can subtract it from the future age in the years from now? Yes, absolutely. So whether you're part-time or full-time in any branch of the military to include the Coast Guard, it all counts toward your retirement. But understand that there is active duty retirement and then part-time retirement. When you're doing part-time retirement, that's including any deployments, active duty time, and reserve time collectively for 20 years. You'll retire as a reservist. But if you do 20 full-time active duty years, then you'll get active duty retirement. But to answer your question, between the Guard, the Marines, and anywhere else, altogether counts towards your 20 years of service for retirement purposes, if that makes sense. I think PsyOp has a unit in Colorado or Utah for National Guard. Well, hopefully if you don't academically fail out, then you'll get what you want. Now, defaulting to 31 Bravo, I have no clue. Is that what your recruiter told you in the National Guard? Slump says 20. I think you meant 20 years old, near the end of my midlife crisis, overweight and unemployed. I'm generally getting prepared for enlistment physically and mentally. I am interested in 37 Foxtrot, which we found out is psyops, and then, or psychological warfare, and then wanted an option 40 or airborne for, see anything right after that. But yeah, so I would focus on getting eligible to join in the first place, taking the ASVAB and a medical exam, and see what your options are from there. Those are pretty hefty goals, and I'm not saying that you're not going to qualify for it, but it's going to be pretty substantial to be able to qualify for all of that, because you got to think about the medical condition, the to qualify for a top secret clearance, and all that good stuff. So yeah, but I hope that you get everything that you're looking for nonetheless. Shake it up 85 says hello, how are you doing today? I'm doing all right. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Piney Woods 4 says, right, my drill sergeant taught us about 60 seconds run and 20-second walk. It does help though. Yes, because it's considered high intensity interval training, or HIIT. And that right there, the 30-60s is what's going to decrease your overall run time for your 2-mile run. The Reasonable Texan says, how long does it take to get bank info and child support set up? Is this done during reception? Is it a complicated process? All right, so I'm not sure if your child support is something that you're handling personally through your bank, or how you have that set up, or if that's court directed through the system, through the courts to pay child support. But with that being said, check this video out on how to prepare for basic training, because I talk about how to automate your bills and stuff like that. But to answer your question, depending on when you ship out and when you get through the finance office, just understand it could take up to 30 days before you see your first paycheck. So let's say you ship out on the 8th or 9th of the month, right? And then you don't sit down with finance until like the 11th or 12th, maybe even the 13th. So that means because we get paid on the 1st and the 15th of every month, you're not going to get into the system fast enough to get paid by the 15th of that month. So you'll see your first paycheck and your rear that's owed to you on your first paycheck on the 1st of the next month. Hopefully you follow what I just said there. I also talk about it in the National Guard pay video here, I believe. But yeah, so just understand it could take up to 30 days depending on when you ship, get through finance, and everything gets situated. I recommend that you get everything set up on auto. The way I have mine set up is through my bank. So on the 1st of every month, I just make sure that a certain amount is transferred to her account, and it's just there. I don't have to think about it. There's no writing checks. And the reason why I opted not to go through the court system to make sure that it goes through their system is because based on stories that I've heard through other people that went through that process, they sometimes, even though it was being deducted from their paycheck, it wasn't getting to the other person on time, and then they're dragging them back to court, wasting time to find out that they are paying for it, but for whatever reason the court system is failing them by not delivering the funds in a timely manner. So if you can set it up so it's outside of the court system, it would be better for everyone involved, if that makes sense. That's just my 2 cents. Patel Yash says, I had to get a waiver for asthma and I already went to the doctors and he cleared me. It's been 2 weeks and I haven't heard anything back yet. Do you know how long it takes to hear back from MEPS? There are so many variables, but definitely now that 2 weeks has gone by, your recruiter can definitely reach out to his I don't know what component of the Army they're in, what they call them, but basically their leadership can contact MEPS to see what the status is. But typically once MEPS gets the results, it takes about 10 to 21 days, if not shorter in most cases, to evaluate the results and make a determination if you qualified, not qualified, recommend a waiver, or not qualified, permanently disqualified, and no waiver authorized. Those are the 3 things that could possibly happen, but patience is key. So good luck to you. Penny Woods says, best job MOS. 92 golf, culinary specialist, respect to cook, and probably, absolutely. JG says, anyone attending the SoCo Mathletes Special Forces Challenge this April in Florida? No, but that sounds very interesting. Wish I could be there. Yama Grizzly says, when do you start serving time on 3-year National Guard contract? Does the time start basic training like the Marine Reserves, or when you sign your contract and talking about serving IR time? All right, so when you're joining the National Guard, the day you sign your contract, you are in paid status. So that means that your contract starts the day you sign your contract. Anybody else who's going active duty, their contract doesn't start until they ship out. And if they're shipping out through MEPS, they'll redo their oath of enlistment at MEPS. And if you're direct shipping to the training site, you'll redo your oath at the training site. And that day is when your contract will officially start. And when it comes to the Army Reserve, it's not across the board that it starts on the day that you contract, because technically they have to put you in like a paid status. So if they do put you in paid status, then your contract starts that day. And depending on what your contract is, you obviously know when your IRR time will be. And if you want to know how the contracts work, if you haven't contracted yet, here's my contract video if you want to check that out. Shake It Up says, I just hit 1 year seizure free today. Now I need to get off my meds. I'm 39 years old. Yeah, unfortunately, when it comes to epilepsy, you're going to have to show 3 to 5 years of stability off medication and have no issues and remain stable the whole time. But good luck to you. Miss ERICKA J says, enlisting as a 31-year-old. Hell yeah. You're still super duper young. Angel Omar says, if I score low on the ASVAB, but I qualify for the ACAS program, could I still get in, or will I have to do the 09 mic program? So if you fail the test with not scoring at 31 or better, then you're going to have to go through the 09 mic program, and you're more than likely not going to be able to use the ACAS program because they're probably not going to do it because they just have too many soldiers going through that process. But yeah. Now, if you pass the test on your own, then you can definitely use the ACAS. But in my opinion, based on what I know, then they're not going to offer you the Civilian Acquired Skills program while at the training site at the completion of the 09 mic program, unfortunately. Slump says, RASP, also got to do my Sophia and attempt 48 credits for E3. It's a lot of preparation. Should I even enlist right now or just prove myself over my goal span of 7 to 11 months, then enlist? Thank you. And I think there's another question here. Near the end of my midlife crisis, overweight. Gotcha. RASP, also ready. Okay, you're repeating yourself. All right, so how far away from the 48 credits? Because you could get all that in like 1 month, maybe 2 if you got issues. How many credits have you earned so far? Because what you can do, depending on when your ship date is, you can join as long as you have at least 15 or more college credits and meet the rest of the criteria. And then while you're waiting to ship out, finish those additional credits as soon as possible so that you can get an official college transcript prior to shipping. And as long as you can get those 48 or more Sophia credits converted over to college credits, then you can move up to the rank of E3 for having 48 or more college credits prior to shipping out to basic training. And those of you who don't know what this person is talking about with Sophia, you can check this out because you can join without a high school diploma or a GED. That video will go over it in more detail, but you can join with 15 college credits in lieu of not having earned your high school diploma or your GED. Kahi says MEPS LOL. Sorry, I don't remember or recall what was said before that, so I apologize. Shake It Up says, do I have to be 2 years seizure free and med free, or can it be 1 year? You could try it 1 year, but I would say the earliest realistically that you'd be able to do that is probably around 3 years would be the earliest, in my opinion. Most people that I've seen who attempted it were told to wait 5 years. That's why I'm giving you the 3 to 5 years. So if it was like a one-time seizure in your history and you've been symptom free for 3 years and no medication, great. If you've been having like repeat seizure episodes and you were diagnosed with epilepsy with no rhyme or reason diagnosed to what was causing it, and you've been symptom free for just 1 year and off medication for 1 year, then I would expect the full waiting period of 5 years stability with no medication in that period before they'll accept your request to join. Do you have to be off your meds your whole Army career or just a year in through training? All right, so here's the deal. When you're joining the military, there's only a handful of prescriptions that you're going to be authorized to be on to go to basic training, like birth control, hypothyroidism medicine. And when we were allowing transgenders to join, they could stay on their medication as well, as long as they enlisted with a waiver. And there may be like 1 or 2 other medications that's not very common, but aside from that, you cannot go to basic training with medication. Now, throughout your Army career, if you do develop conditions or illnesses and you're required to be on medication, as long as you're deemed deployable to go overseas and fight for your country, then you can stay in service. If the type of medication that you're on cannot be kept and managed and all that good stuff while you're on deployment, like let's say it's got to be refrigerated the whole time, then you're going to be a no-go at the station and they will medically chapter you out of the military, or at least the Army. And that's how that works. George says, what's up, son? In service Army question. I'm currently looking to reclass 291 Bravo, which is a light wheel vehicle mechanic, 268 series, anything in the medical field, basically. Can I sign up for classes to retake the ASVAB? Yes, it's called the BSEP course. And my recommendation is that you do the BSEP course on base before you leave the Army. That would be my recommendation for you. That way you can knock that out and then either A, take the test after the BSEP course on base, or you could retake the test with your local recruiter at MEPS, which would probably be the fastest way to do it. Just to be honest with you. So that guy, when it comes to OSUT is for those who are joining in the combat jobs like infantry, military police, field artillery, you name it, right? They'll do one station unit training, or known as OSUTs. Their basic training is slightly different. So whereas somebody like me who is in combat support, our basic training is the primary one where it's the most meaningful one, because by the time we graduate from AIT, our advanced individual training, we don't care about that. It's like, yo, give me my DD-214 or whatever and let me go. I'm done. I just want to get out of here. But for OSUT, around the 10-week mark, they will have a small ceremony. It's called the Turning Green ceremony, where you will signify or celebrate that you've completed your first 10 weeks of Army basic training, or at least allegedly the 10-week basic training requirements. And then from there, you'll complete the rest of your training. And at the very, very end, you will have your Turning Blue ceremony, where you will receive your blue discs and your blue cord as an infantryman. And that is the most memorable and meaningful graduation for OSUT, is the second one. Support, basic training. For OSUT, it's at the end of OSUT. Marco Lopez says, if my sugar is a bit high, but I'm not diabetic, can I get through MEPS? Probably not. But let MEPS figure that out. Abby says, is there a specific kind of psychologist, if it needs to be, sort of the example, behavior analysis, forensic, clinical, do they need to have a PhD or psychology degree, or is a master's in license acceptable? Thank you. It's got to be done by a psychologist. Whether or not it's got a psychology degree or not, I don't know. But if they are a psychologist, then that's what we're looking for. That's what MEPS will make you do through their consultation. JG says, I think the PSYOP has a unit. Oh yeah, we talked about that. Zenny says, yes, I'm going active duty. It's not a deterrent for me if I end up 31 Bravo, but I want to make sure that is what I get because I don't want to get assigned to cook or like mechanic. All right, so I'll put it to you this way. I don't know any PSYOP individuals in my life to be able to reach out to find out if that is a thing or not. You said it was California, right, Zenny? I don't know if you're still here, but if you're still here, let me know in the chat box because maybe it's something I can find out for you. But in my general recruiting experience, when you academically fail out of a school, the Army looks for an MOS that you're qualified for, eligible for, and that it will cost them the least amount to get you retrained. Whether or not it's the MOS of choice is a different story. But we as recruiters, or at least in the National Guard, we put or list 3 MOSs that you're qualified for, that you're highly interested in. So we have backup MOSs in the event that you do academically fail out. So as long as there is a slot available for one of those 3, then you're going to get one of your top 3. Otherwise, it's for the convenience of the Army because you academically failed out. It wasn't because of us, it's because you couldn't get through the training. So don't fail. You got this. The Reasonable Texan says, I am in the process of enlisting at the age of 36 years old, did the ASVAB, scored a 97, and have gone through MEPS, now just waiting for waivers, hopefully to be approved. Well, may the waiver gods forever be in your favor. Sandy says, sorry for asking active duty questions, came across your YouTube channel while looking for advice before enlisting. Want to make sure most informed choice possible. Zenny, if you're still here, I can definitely recommend you to speak to ERICKA Burney on Instagram. She's an active duty recruiter located out of California. I can't remember where in California, but she's out of California, and she could definitely address active duty specific questions. What was your question again? Oh yeah, the PSYOP thing, right? Yeah, let me know. But she's the one that I want you to reach out to. Tisa says, son was told to get E2 if he registered at the website. Is that true? Future soldier. Oh, so they're talking about the Stripes for Skills program, which he can do at the Future Soldier Prep. The Future Soldier program. So on a weekly basis, they'll have him come in, do some PT or physical training to keep them motivated to ship out. But yes, if he can complete the Stripes for Skills test online, then they will advance him to the rank of E2. I'm assuming that Zenny left us. Jose Lopez says, shipped out, or I ship out in 4 days. I've eaten so many pizzas lately and I'm straight off the couch. I'm probably 10 to 15 more pounds than my original MEPS date. And well, if you're more than 2% over your maximum allowable body fat from your age and gender, then you're running the risk of not shipping out to basic training. Oh, Zenny is still here. All right, perfect. Georgia, outstanding. Good stuff. All right, so hopefully you heard what I just said. But good luck at MEPS, Jose. You definitely don't want to be over. You might want to, I'm not saying starve yourself, but you might want to put the fork down and lose a few pounds before you report to MEPS in 4 days. I would say drink 3 liters to a gallon of water per day, no carbs, and then consume only proteins and vegetables for the next 4 days, and keep your calories to about 1,000 calories a day, and you might be able to lose 3 to 5 pounds of water weight in the meantime. Hollywood just made E5 active duty, out freaking standing. Congratulations. My question is, I'm working on my compassionate reassignment. I put the location to New York City Recruiting Battalion. Where would I end up and what job could I do? I'm supply. Well, I mean, if you come to New York City into recruiting, you're probably going to be a recruiter. And yeah, good luck with that. And if you're supply here in New York City, then that would probably be your better bet. Probably be easier for you. But if you're going to New York City recruiting battalion, plan on becoming a recruiter. And if you need some tips, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you out with some pointers. I got over 20 years of experience, but yeah. So let me show you a quick video. So I actually posted this as a story on Instagram the other day, and I was basically talking about how those people who say they want to become recruiters, and this is my response to them.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
You sure you want to be a recruiter? Are you sure about that? Woo, if you don't know, you will know soon enough. That's all I'm saying. But it can be very rewarding, but it could also be very, very stressful. But from my understanding, people in New York City aren't hating it that much. But yeah. Yama Grizzy says, I don't have enough time to enlist in the Marine Corps Reserve before age cutoff. With the things going on in my life currently, was thinking of joining the National Guard for 3 years to pause my age for enlistment purposes in Marine Reserve. Oh, gotcha. Well, I would definitely say if you want to find out if this works for the Marine Corps, find out, because if I'm understanding you correctly, you're looking to get your foot in the door as a National Guard soldier in anticipation that you can transfer to the Marine Corps Reserve later on as a prior service individual. Is that the angle that you're trying to use to get into the Marine Corps at a later date? Because if that is the case, I would definitely bounce that off of a active duty or a Marine Corps recruiter to say, listen, if I do the National Guard for 3 years and I come back to you guys, is my age still a factor, or am I just going to be treated like a prior service individual and I can go ahead and transfer to the Marine Corps Reserve? That would be my question for your Marine Corps recruiter. Ian Klopper with the hello, what's up? Bailey Wick says shipping out to basic in April, combat medic, active duty. My recruiter just texted me and told me that he got me an option 40. Any real harm in signing it and trying my hand out at RASP? Yeah, go for it. Absolutely. The worst thing that could happen is you fail out for whatever reason. But listen, go for it. Never throw down an opportunity. So if they're offering it to you, take it and make the best of the opportunity. You never know until you try, because you will miss every shot that you don't shoot. Patel Yash says, thank you for all your videos and your live streams. You've answered a lot of my questions, so I appreciate it. Well, I appreciate you appreciating me. Thank you very much for that. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you. I've been having an abnormal heart rate all afternoon. I don't know what's up with that, but it's hovering around 100 to 109 beats per minute, I guess. Benjamin Karen says, how's your luck been with the PICAT? I did mine at my recruiter's office and was planning to verify it at MEPS and ended up doing the whole thing again and scored 2 points higher at an 83. All right. So the PICAT is just that. It is a glorified full version practice test that we could possibly use if you verify at MEPS, and the system will dictate or determine whether you're answering far better or far worse. If so, they'll transfer you to the full 3-hour test, and you won't complete the verification test, which is like 40 minutes long. Or you're 1 or 2 out of the 10 people that automatically get switched over to the full version ASVAB. Or what could have happened was when you got there, the PICAT system was down and they just enrolled you into the full version 3-hour ASVAB test. But regardless, you still score 2 points higher. Hopefully your line scores were consistent, or at least, if not consistent with your PICAT results, better than your results, if that makes sense. Salvador Mudo, I will come back to you because I got a super something from Memoir of Omo B. Appreciate you. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. I'm not sure if you tried to attach a comment to that, but I will try to pay attention and see if you post an additional comment or something. Oh no, you posted something right above it. She says, how does guard to guard work for an E4 PR Puerto Rico with a master's degree? Will it be after AIT? How does G to G good to go work for G to G E4 specialist PR public relations with a master's degree? Will it be after AIT? Hang on. Oh, green to gold. Okay. How does green to gold work for an E4? What does the PR mean? Position? No. What does PR stand for? Does the PR stand for public relations? Okay. Well, that's what I'm assuming, but I'm gonna see what she says. Because normally green to gold is very, very difficult to request it because you have to have like 3+ years of like stellar. I'm talking about like the cream of the crop, non-commissioned officer evaluation reports to even be considered to go from green to gold. But oh, permanent resident. Yeah. So not happening. So to go from green to gold, you're basically asking me, can you be direct commissioned as a commission officer as a green card holder? So as a permanent resident holding a green card, you're not eligible to be an officer. So what you're gonna have to do is get your foot in the door by choosing an MOS to get into the Army. And usually by the time you graduate from Army basic training, you'll earn your US citizenship. So what I tell all my soldiers is that they'll ship out with pre-filled, sometimes pre-completed, with the 05 signature already on it for the N400 and the N426. So when applying for citizenship, soldiers and regular civilians all fill out the same form, which is the N400, applying for US citizenship. The N426 is for military members to waive the fee and to expedite the process. So once you get into basic training, you will submit those two forms, you'll receive the study guide, and later on throughout your basic training experience, they will plan, coordinate your verbal and written test. And usually 30 minutes prior to the basic training graduation ceremony, you will have your oath of enlistment ceremony, or your US citizenship oath of citizenship ceremony prior to your basic training graduation, and then you'll be a US citizen. So you'll have to settle for an MOS for your initial contract, and then in the middle of your contract, now that you'll be a US citizen, then you can apply for OCS. So you're not going to be able to go from green to gold because, like I said earlier, you have to have at least 3 years or more of phenomenal cream of the crop non-commissioned officer evaluation reports, which is our annual evaluations. So green to gold is not going to be an option, but you can apply for OCS, Officer Candidate School Program, and that will require you to be recommended by a commissioned officer, which in most cases will be your commander. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. And let me know if that did address your question and concern. You've met the education requirement. You do need to be, again, a US citizen, have a GT line score of a 110 or better, and qualify for a secret clearance. And you're very welcome. Good luck to you. And thank you so much for supporting the channel. Well, all my proceeds this month will go to my mother anyway, so I appreciate that. Sorry, I'm scrolling up to where I last left off. I think I was here with Salvador Muro. How long required to be off ADHD meds? What about a major depression on record with scars from self-injury, but I'm legit better now? Waiver would be easy, I assume, but scars look bad. All right, so Salvador, I need you quickly, if you can, in the chat box, let me know how long you've been off of medication and stable from both depression and ADHD, from the last incident and the last prescription. How long? Has it been more than 3 years? That's the big question I have. So if it was just ADHD, you could be off of medication for 6 months and you can get a waiver. But when it comes to depression, it's going to be dependent on the depression, but because there's self-harm involved, that's going to maximize that 3-year minimum waiting period. So you're going to have to be off of medication and stable for at least 3 years and get a psych consult done either by MEPS or by yourself and or through MEPS, and be cleared that way before they'll entertain a waiver. Now, when it comes to medical waivers for mental health and ADHD and all that stuff, check out my video guide coming into the chat box right now. Yes, ADHD months only, self-harm was 15 years ago. Okay, perfect. So one thing I did not mention in my medical waiver guide video that I just posted that you should definitely highly recommend that you go watch, I do address self-harm in the video as well as one of the things to discuss. But one thing I forgot to include in the video is, and don't say this out loud, but you use this information as you see fit. If you conducted self-harm on numerous occasions, then your waiver is expected to get denied. If you only conducted self-harm one time, I say again, hint, hint, stomp, stomp. If you had injured yourself or self-harmed yourself one time, your waiver is expected to get approved. So if you self-harmed yourself multiple times on different occasions, a waiver can get denied. But if you admit to self-harm one time, your waiver should get approved. Obviously, it depends on your record, your diagnosis, if you were on meds, the strength of the meds, how long you've been on meds, and your overall history. And obviously, the reason why you went and did whatever and following the tips in the video and all that stuff, and then MEPS will make that determination. But the minimum waiting period would be 3 years. And obviously, with you being 15 years clear, then you should be fine. You should be able to get a waiver. All right. So again, you're very welcome. All right, good. Hopefully you can read between the lines what I was saying there. All right. Amaya says, if I've been on antidepressants for 5 months, 6 months minimum for a psych consult, I think, do I really have to wait full 36 months, even if I no longer meet the criteria for MDD or other exceptions? All right. So Amaya, when it comes to mental health, again, usually when it comes to mental health and medication, they will have a 24 to 36 month minimum waiting period. So if it's been 2 years, at least 2 years, hell, you know what? My motto is this here. Like, I'm telling you to expect a 24 to 36 month waiting period, especially when it comes to antidepressants. But if you've been stable and off meds for at least a year, I would say submit your complex pre-screen and see what MEP says, but expect them to say a minimum 24 months, a maximum of 36 months from when you got off of medication and you've been stable the whole time. So hopefully that helps. And I don't know if you were here before, but I'll post it again just in case you weren't. But I posted my medical waiver guide and all the best tips and practices in that video when it comes to understanding the medical waiver process and dealing with depression in of itself. So definitely go check that out, and good luck to you guys. Santino says, I want to go infantry though. Outstanding. Definitely go for it if that's what you want. Maya says, my waiver is currently being processed with additional documents requested. All right. So that's good news. All right. But again, they may want a longer period to wait, but definitely keep me posted. I'm really curious to see what they say. How long have you been signs and symptom free and off of medication for to date? Maya says, my food allergy got approved on the bright side. Outstanding. That's always good. Did you have to do the food challenge test to get cleared past that? Oh, 5 months. Gotcha. Yeah. You definitely have to wait at least a year, depending on if it was super duper mild. Like if you had been diagnosed with depression, like mild depression, and you took maybe medication for 1 month, then they could have a shorter minimum waiting period. But if you were on medication for longer than that, and again, more serious depression diagnosis, then expect 2 to 3 year minimum waiting period. There's so many variables. So understand, at minimum, best case scenario, 1 year. Worst case scenario, 3 year minimum waiting period. Hopefully it's not that, but we'll see. Gotcha. Quinte Ferez says, to be real, Zenny, in my experience at Fort Huachuca, I had and knew some folks fail out of my class and get recycled, fail again, then get offered the role of 13 Bravo. It just needs of the Army, bro. Yep. Unfortunately, it could boil down to just that. Capo says, Capo asks, when is the next basic training deployment? Basic training is not a deployment, but we ship out people to basic training Monday through Friday, if that makes it any better or worse for you. Then he says, still here. I'm oh yeah, we talked about that. JG says, did you have that info for your AZ contact, Arizona contact sent email? What? Did you have that info? Are you talking to me, JG? Can you refresh my memory? I feel like I know we've talked before, because I remember saying JG multiple times because you were awesome with posting multiple comments throughout a live stream. Did you send me an email about something in Arizona contact? Oh, I think you were looking for, now I remember it. Did you email me? I don't recall getting an email from you. Where is it? Shoot me another email and I can find somebody. I have some free time tomorrow. I'll be able to help you out and get that contact for you. I apologize. I don't recall if I saw your email or not. Recruiter in Arizona. I got you. And remind me, was that active duty, reserve, or guard? Let me know. The 131 says, if you get a waiver approved for asthma, does it limit your choices of MOS? No, you should be fine. Magina Estremera says, I'm scared shitless of MEPS. I feel that I would be disqualified for any little issue. Yeah, we're scared with you. Yes, thank you, and I appreciate you resending that email. I apologize for not getting back to you sooner. Probably got buried, or maybe accidentally deleted it. But yes, send me another email. Appreciate that. Thank you. Don't be scared of MEPS. If you want to know what to expect at MEPS, then watch this video, because I give you tips on certain aspects of the medical exam. But understand this, MEPS is not your friend, okay? Whatever you discuss with your recruiter and whatever you submit, the video will go over it, but understand that unless you have medical documentation or an actual medical diagnosis, it does not exist. All right. And with that said, when you're filling out the paperwork, no responses means that you still have new opportunities. Any yes response means that your enlistment stops, and then you'll have to do possible consultations or get additional things out of your own pocket to get some medical testing done or whatever to satisfy the needs for a medical waiver. And then it's up to the waiver gods to approve your medical waiver to get in. So MEPS is not your friend. Your recruiter wants you to enlist, and MEPS does legitimately want you to enlist. However, their job is to disqualify you because they only want the qualified to join. So don't disqualify yourself by self-diagnosing yourself, or because mom told you growing up that you had asthma when you were a kid, but you don't ever remember having an asthma attack. Like things like that. So don't disqualify yourself. All right. Unless you've been diagnosed from a doctor, there's nothing wrong with you. Hopefully that makes sense. But watch the video and good luck to you. I hate MEPS with a passion. Then he says, I wonder if I go back to 31 Bravo, then they send me 37 Foxtrot candidates to MPO set. So it would be the cheapest option reclassification. That's a good question. I'm not sure if you would have to redo basic training again. Probably just to AIT portion. The black and gold phase of OSUT is what you end up doing if that's the case. Ellie Mariasmer. I'll just call you Ellie. Hi. I really love your channel. I'm about to enlist in the Army Military Police. That's what I'm talking about. Good stuff. Good career path. You're going to have a lot of enemies though. Not for bad reasons, just because you're doing your job enforcing military law. So it's a good job. You'll like it. Good luck to you, and thank you for loving my channel. My channel loves you too. The one says, scariest doctors I've ever seen were at MEPS. Deposited scariest doctors I've ever seen were at MEPS, weaponized medicine. For sure. Some of them take their jobs way too seriously. Quinte Ferres says, I had a waiver for asthma. You'll have to do some tests. I'm aviation unmanned, but still needed to be off of an inhaler. So it depends on the job. Asthma can be tricky. Well, it doesn't matter what your job is. You still have to not be on asthma medication. So unless something changes in the future, you have to be off of medication no matter what. Yeah, I'll leave it there. But memoir says how to, oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about that. One last question. If you are disqualified permanently from the Army, are you able to submit waivers and go through the process with another branch service like the Navy? Yes. So let's say hypothetically you get denied by the active duty Army. You could try the Army National Guard, but if you're trying to go active duty, then you can try another active component of the military and any other branch of service. And sometimes what one denies, others will approve. So in order of precedence of most interested, least interested, work down that list until hopefully one of your branches says yes. So good luck to you. Anakin Skywalker says, my question got skipped 2 times already. I wonder what it said that it getting rejected. I'm not really sure, honestly, but I've been going line by line. Trust me, I wouldn't skip you because you're a repeat question person, if that's even a way of saying it. Yeah, I'm scrolling up. I'm not seeing anything. If it has something to do with Trump, the administration, certain wars and stuff like that, I have keywords blocked for that, all that stuff, for obvious reasons. But you can always direct message me on Instagram, as you know. Salvador says, smiley face, appreciate that. The reasonable Texan going for combat medic. Good stuff. Good stuff. Shake It Up says, if I were healthy, I do Krav Maga and karate. Would that do anything for me rank wise? No, it does not. It's a good skill to know, but has nothing to do with rank. Gerardo Alas says, thanks for all your hard work. Quick question. If I ship out in April, pretty much on spring, I use over-the-counter pill for seasonal allergies. Would those consider contraband? Don't bring it with you. Just deal with it. And then if you have to go on sick call to get some sort of seasonal allergy medicine, you'll get that at the basic training site. So don't bring it. It will be considered contraband. Jalil Pope says, have they started letting someone in that passed positive for weed? Yes. So if you went to MEPS and you failed the drug test, after 90 days, you can do a new drug test. And if you pass it, then we can submit a moral waiver. And once that is approved, then you can join, at least for the Army. I don't know about other branches of services. Now, if you were in the military and you pissed hot on a drug test, you're a no-go at this station. No waiver authorized. You're a done deal. Salvador says, years, yes. 80. Oh, yeah, we talked about that. Salvador says, thank you for answering. I'll check it out. Definitely understood. Thank you. Awesome. Shake It Up says, I love your videos. Very informative. Shake It Up. Do you believe that I'm too informative? too detailed, or do you think I should do the videos not as detailed, still detailed, but not as detailed in a shorter video? Like, would you prefer a shorter detailed video or more in-depth, detailed but more in-depth, longer video? And do you think that for the viewer satisfaction, do you think if I were to tell some sort of story in these videos to make them a little more entertaining would be of more value to you, or just the way, like, clear-cut information? I'm trying to help with the retention of the videos and to, you know, add more value, make it not, I mean, still informative, but maybe not so dry, and somehow make it more entertaining, if that makes sense. Any positive feedback, constructive criticism would be great. And for anybody else who's here that have been watching some of my videos, what would you like to see? What I could do to make it better? Let me know in the chat box. Joshua says, can't wait to get out of the Army. Why is that? What I always tell people all the time, for the people that do get out of the Army or the military, is people don't quit the Army because of their job. People quit because of leadership. So let me know what your reason for getting out of the Army is. Salvador Muro says, yes, haha, copy that, sir. Outstanding. Kaikazar says, 16 years old, already have my high school diploma. My only concern is I have eye floaters, but they're not diagnosed. So if it's not diagnosed, what are we talking about, Mother Flower? What did I tell you earlier in the stream? Don't self-diagnose, all right? They're not diagnosed, but I have to bring that up with my recruiter at MEPS. And how bad is this? I'm not sure how bad float. Let me check. I've never had that as a disqualification, but let me double check. So medically speaking, if somebody's experiencing floaters in their eyes, is this a negative eye condition, or like, what could this turn into in the future? Could this condition worsen into something bad, or what do you think?
Eye floaters are usually tiny specks or cobweb-like shapes that drift across your field of vision. They are often harmless and a normal part of aging, occurring when the vitreous gel inside your eyes becomes more liquid and microscopic fibers within the gel clump together, casting shadows on the retina. However, a sudden increase in floaters, especially if accompanied by light flashes or peripheral vision loss, could signal a retinal detachment, which is serious and requires immediate medical attention. If you notice any changes in your vision, it's best to consult an eye care professional.
All right, please be quiet. All right, so yeah, what are we talking about here? Read between the lines, all right? Don't disqualify yourself. Let the doctors be doctors and let them figure it out, all right? That's all I gotta say about that. But hopefully you don't get a detachment retina or whatever. But yeah, what Magina, I'm jacking up your last name, but I probably said your first name wrong too. It's probably Mahina, or is it Mahinia? But whatever she said, you should definitely get your retinas checked out. Well, I don't know. It's like, I'm torn. I want you to get, all right, so this is what I recommend. If you're not in any pain or any seriousness, because they probably will check that at reception when you go to basic training, not at MEPS. At MEPS, it's just a basic vision test and a color test and a depth perception test. But when you go through reception, they will be testing for other eye conditions. I'm not sure if they're checking for floaters or retina detachment stuff, but I know they do definitely check for various eye conditions like myopia, I forgot the other ones, but it's a handful of things that they'll do. But I say, let the doctors figure it out at MEPS and at reception. And if they don't say nothing, once you get to your first duty station, like Mahina says, go to your local eye doctor and check out your retinas and make sure you're good to go. Because once you get past basic training in AIT and in your unit of assignment, the military has fully vested in you and they will keep you. But if you give them any rhyme or reason to disqualify you throughout your enlistment and joining process and completing your initial entry training, it is dumb, easy, and more beneficial for them to terminate you before you get to your unit of assignment. But that's just my 2 cents. So if you're not in any pain, that's what I would recommend. But you do what you think is best for you. I'm not a doctor, so if you think you need to go see a doctor, then go see a doctor. This is not Dr. Swartz here. This is Uncle Lou talking to you. All right. Good luck to you. And congratulations on graduating high school early. That's what's up. Mahina says, I had floaters 12 years ago and had a hole in my retina and didn't know. Got that fixed, but wasn't diagnosed with anything. That's another one of my concerns for MEPS. Yeah, I would definitely be concerned with that for sure. Oh, well, if it's fixed and there's no other issues, hopefully they'll approve a medical waiver for you. But it's definitely something to be concerned about for sure. But I've never heard of that really. I mean, if it was actually detached, then yes, it could be an issue. How long have you had that fixed, Mahina? Jahil says, can I get a waiver for tested positive? Oh, we talked about that. Amaya says, thanks. It will be a year as of this October. Oh yeah, we talked about that. No, I didn't have to, but based on the medical records, it's manageable. Severity moderate, and I hope it's not that long. I hope not either. So good luck to you on your depression waiver. Lannon Nussbaum says, I'm losing weight to get into the guard and wanting to go special forces. Is the try one contract an option as a civilian? No. So to go special forces, you're gonna have to sign up for a minimum of a 6. I believe. Well, actually, no. I don't know. Double check, because I think I did bring this up during my podcast with him. But I'm posting a video podcast with the Colorado Army National Guard recruiters. It's 2 recruiters, with one of those 2 recruiters that's still actively serving as an operator for special forces. So his face will be blurred out and voice slightly altered, but very informative. What I would do to ask that question to them, because their contact is written down in a pinned comment underneath that video. Ask them your special forces question and good luck to you. Let them know I sent you. Amaya, I'm going to come back to you because I got a couple of super chats or something towards the bottom here. Jose, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. I'm not seeing any comments around here, so I appreciate. Oh, here it is. You did another one. Appreciate you. Thank you. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate you. Having trouble with algebra on the test. I'm not. Are you asking me? No, I'm just kidding. 2 things I would recommend. Actually, I got 3 things for you, all going to be actually part of this video. Definitely watch my ASVAB guide video that I'm posting into the chat box right now. Also linked down below underneath this video if you don't want to check it out right now. But underneath that video is linked to a few resources. I have a lot of resources, actually. I don't want to overwhelm you, but check out Grammar Hero. Go to Grammar Hero and then search algebra on his channel. His channel is free. All the videos are awesome. A lot of people have gained like over 20 points higher on their retest when using his videos. There's also Colfax Math. Look for the math video. It's a quiz video, so you're going to pause it, figure it out. If you get it wrong, he's got linked videos in the description that will deep dive on how to do that type of math problem and stuff. A lot of people have gotten really good results studying from that video as well. And I also have the ASVAB for Dummies book for free PDF in the description area as well that you could check out. And depending on how you feel, like if you feel like you want tutoring, but you're kind of more like you have self-discipline and you can stay focused, for less than $40 with my discount code SWARTZ20, you can get 20% off of Mometrics, which will be an online course that you can knock out, and you can just do the math portion of the ASVAB pre-training and in that course. And that's what I would recommend for you. So you got several free resources and the 1 paid resource. Most people only need legitimate studying, if they actually do it, no more than 2 to 4 weeks of studying. But good luck to you. Appreciate you. think I got another one here from Dustin. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. He says, hey, Sergeant, prior service Marine here that hit you up a while ago. Went to MEPS and the doctor who evaluated me said I'm likely to get a waiver for psych. Awesome. So as long as it's been more than 3 years and you're pretty much stable at this point, likelihood of you getting an approval is very, very good. So as long as you follow my tips in this video here, you will definitely be approved. Own it. Don't like downplay it. What caused it, how you overcame it, what coping mechanisms you had then, what coping mechanisms you have now, what support system you had then, what support system you have now, and why you feel that you won't have those issues again. If you have the means to get your own psych consultation done by a psychologist, a 1-2 hour consultation, then I would do that, because the more supporting medical documentation that you have, in addition to the MEPS directed psych consult that you will get through them, collectively will paint a picture that you are good to go and your waiver will get approved. Got to do the psych eval as well. Well, for the waiver, that is. Yes, absolutely. Before we can submit the waiver, well, sometimes we submit without the psych consult unless MEPS dictates that you need either MEPS or the waiver department requires a consultation. So it really depends on your records, honestly. But good luck to you. All right, scrolling back up to where I last left off. Oh, Zustin, don't worry about it. I'm not a sir. I'm actually a sergeant first class in the Army National Guard, but this is my personal page, and that's probably why you're seeing someone call me sir. This is a personal page. I'm not officially recruiting on here. I do recruit here in New York City, but this is just me helping people join the Army overall. It's just a hobby of mine. So I got no hair in my back or no skin in the game to shoot it straight with you so that you can make a more well-informed decision and help you get enlisted. Let's see, we've got another super chat coming in or super sticker coming in from Shadika W. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. And I'm not sure if you meant to attach. Oh yeah, you did have a comment up here. It says, hello, LT. I'm not an LT, but I appreciate it. Just completed my 32 credits on Sophia. How long does it take to evaluate? And also with that amount of credits, what level of rank could I get? All right, cool. So 24 or more college credits will get you to E2. Unfortunately, with 32, you're not going to meet the next threshold of 48 or more credits. So my recommendation is to it sounds like you already did or about to submit your evaluation so you can get an official college transcript. From my understanding, it takes about 3 weeks to get the hard copy of your college transcript. Maybe talking to the school, see if they would be interested in doing a parchment where they email your recruiter or yourself your official college transcripts online versus mailing a hard copy, so you can get it faster and streamline that process. But what I would recommend is with 32, use that to get enlisted. See if you can knock out the remaining credits to hit 48 so that you can get promoted to the rank of private first class E3 by the time you ship out to basic training. That would be my best bet for you and my recommendation. And those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, it's part of this Sophia video that explains everything to you. We got another super chat coming in from The One. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Says, last question. Don't threaten me with the last question. This time I promise. If you have been disqualified for psych visits, but you've never been on any medication with no prior or family history, how do you think that things may go? That's like the best case scenario, and that would definitely minimize the waiting periods and increase the probability of your waiver being approved sooner rather than later. Meaning that, let's say you had a life activating event where a parent or a sibling, or let's just say, like, just a loose example, let's say a close family member dies and you were diagnosed for being depressed, no medication was prescribed, and it was like that one time you did the visit or whatever the case may be, then I would say a 1 to 2 year minimum waiting period of stability and off medication, of course. They would, it's been proven in the past that waivers could be recommended and approved at that time. But again, it really depends on your records. So I would say 1 to 3 year waiting period for depression for something like that. Let's say it was postpartum, you're a female, and postpartum is pretty common after birth, rather. They all factor that stuff in. So if it's something that makes sense, that caused the depression, and you overcame it and you didn't use medication, then it would be on the lower end of the minimum requirements. But once you institute medication and some other things, it will prolong the minimum waiting period of stability and off medication to be eligible for a waiver, if that makes sense. And if you're just tuning in now and you haven't seen it or checked out that video in the description, this is my waiver guide coming into the chat box right now. It is also linked down below if you want to check that out. Appreciate you supporting the channel. And again, don't threaten me with the last question. You can always ask me questions. That's why I'm here. I'm just happy to help out. All right, so scrolling back up to where I last left off. So, uno momento, por favor. While I'm scrolling up, do me a favor and hit that like button if you haven't already. All right, Amaya, been off of antidepressants for 6 months, actually, and the other one for 5, so a month apart. Is that where I last left off? Yeah, I think so. Sorry for the spam. No worries. I like it when you ask questions. But unfortunately, being on antidepressants is definitely going to be closer to the 2-year mark, possibly the 3-year minimum waiting period, unfortunately. But good luck to you. And I appreciate that, Shake It Ups. That means a lot to me. Easy Life says, hello, quick question. I'm in the process of enlisting into the Marine Corps. Needed a moral waiver for 2 juvenile felonies from ages 14 and 16, 25 now, 47 ASVAB score, 55 college credits, and 2 court clerk and 1 ex-Marine references. Me personally, I've never seen any felonies approved. Again, I don't know what the juvenile felonies were for and all that good stuff and all the nitty-gritty details. So I really don't know how to address that. But what I can say is it's going to be dependent on your records, and it's very unique and situational to your unique details to those cases. So as you probably are aware, you had to go and get the disposition, the court minutes, and the arrest reports for those 2 cases at minimum, right? Now, juvenile helps because it was as a juvenile, but again, it's very situational and it's dependent on your information. It's tricky. It's going to be tough because they're felony offenses. Now, were you tried as a minor or as an adult? Pose said, I'm going to use it a lot. Okay, talk about that. Mahina says, I was hospitalized for 3 days 10 years ago for DVT on my leg. DVT. Deep vein thrombosis, a condition where a blood clot forms a deep vein, most commonly in the legs, but also occurs in the arms and the pelvis. So she says she had them in her leg. I'm all fine now. Should I mention it to the recruiter or keep my mouth shut since I hear now that they have access to my records? Yeah, so there's no way to hide anything. So if you were, all right, so I'll put it to you this way. If you log onto your My Chart for any facility that you've processed at, if it's in your My Chart, MEPS is going to see it. So if it is reported to an electronic reporting system for your medical records, MEPS will see it through what we call MHS Genesis. If you want to do more research on that, all right, I did a couple of videos titled the MHS Genesis Overview, and we had a lot of questions when it first came out. So I did an update video on that. Hang on. So you can watch the update as well, but count on MHS Genesis seeing all of that, and you will definitely need a waiver. I would definitely strongly encourage you to go see that specialist again for a new updated evaluation and all clear letter as stated in my medical waiver guide in this video here. If you haven't clicked on that video yet to watch later on, because you're here watching me answer your questions. So with that being said, Cam says, any tips for Army basic training? Yes, my suggestion is to understand that basic training is going to be highly stressful for majority of the people that are going to basic training. It is designed to stress you the F out. Seriously. It's considered controlled chaos. No matter what you do, even if you were by the grace of God, do it correctly, we will find a deficiency in your efforts and you will pay the price in the form of PT, physical training. So in the beginning of red phase, you, in my opinion, if you can survive red phase, it will get significantly easier and you will do just fine throughout the rest of the training. So just remember your why, keep your head down, do what you're told, be in the correct uniform, and you'll be fine. My advice is that you research what to expect at Army basic training and do as much preparation as you can. So I'm going to link a few videos here for you to check out that I've personally done here on the channel that will help you be in the know. But understand this, that knowing what to expect and experiencing it are two very different things. So let me say that again. Knowing what to expect doesn't mean that it's going to be easier for you per se. It's nice to know what to expect so it's not as much of a shock, but experiencing it is going to be totally different because you'll see, but hopefully that makes sense. And then my basic training mini series, you could check out. I recommend in that mini series that at minimum you check out what to expect at reception, what to the overview, and at least red phase of Army basic training. But check out all the different phases anyway. If you really want to know what you're doing day to day, it's very detailed. Although it was filmed and edited around the COVID timeframe, ignore all the COVID references. But the training that I talk about in those videos has not changed. All right. Just the COVID restrictions and information that I shared is no longer a thing. So the actual training that I talk about is still the same to this day. It's still the same curriculum. So that's my recommendation. Official says heading to MEPS Tuesday for the physical, and I'm ready to say no to everything which ain't a lie, but I still was told to keep. Yeah, absolutely. The answer is no, which means that you still have new opportunities, because if you do say yes, yes stands for your enlistment stops. Hashtag I'm just saying. If you know, you know. Jahil said, what about if you have GERD, acid reflux? Ooh. Have you been diagnosed for GERD, or are you self-diagnosing for GERD? And if you do currently have GERD, are you on medication for it, or have you fully recovered from GERD? Because it will get you disqualified, and the waiver is going to be, if you're currently on medication for it, you're definitely a no-go. But if you're not on medication for it and you have it, then it's going to significantly decrease the probability of getting a favorable result in your medical waiver, unfortunately. Making you nervous, Zenny. That's funny. Don't worry, I got you. That's why you're here on Team Swartz. Uncle Lou's got you. Mahina says, I'm based in New York. I want to go in as an officer in the National Guard. Any advice do you have? Mahina, do you already have a recruiter for the Army National Guard? Hashtag I'm just asking for a friend. But I do have an OCS video that you could check out here, just so you know your options about OCS. And my advice is to get as physically fit as you possibly can. Don't stress about it, but work on your running and just getting into a program for 5 days a week. And then I would say start studying land navigation. That's going to be big, okay? And there used to be an Army YouTuber called Matt Ward. His channel is still up. And I want you to look up, so I'm going to do a video similar to his, but obviously in Team SWARTZ fashion in more detail. But he did a phenomenal video on land navigation. And I'm going to hook you up with what you need to search. Matt Ward land navigation. Copy and paste that in the search bar and start learning about land navigation. So those are the two things I want you to work on: PT and land navigation. I do, but now that I know you're recruiting, can I transfer to you? Have you been to MEPS yet? And did you give them your social security number and your documents? But that's what I would recommend. JG says, Guard, goal is to get back in to go Special Forces after reclassing from 74 Delta 11 Bravo. Gotcha. Perfect. I look forward to your email, and I will definitely hit you up first thing tomorrow morning. Panda Lover. Oh, in your email, JG, if you're still here, I don't know if you're still here, but let me know what city and county and state you're in so I could find the appropriate recruiter closest to you that I feel comfortable referring to you. And then let me know your cell phone number and your first and last name. That way I can get your information to them and send you their information once I confirm that. Hannah Lover says, are there many sharp cases as before, or have they been reduced? This is a really good question. I'm going to come back to you, Panda Lover. I'm going to come down here real quick. So I got another super chat or something from Shadika W. Appreciate you. Thank you so much again for supporting the channel. Mahina, I see your no. So direct message me on Instagram or shoot me a text, challenge accepted, to this number here. And I will be more than happy to take care of you. Shadika, did you have a question that you wanted to ask me, or are you just supporting the channel? Let me know in the chat box. If for some reason your comment's not going through, just put wait, and I know that you're trying to send a message. Mahina, appreciate that. Thank you very much. You didn't have to do that. Oh, it's at the top? All right, so let me scroll back up then. All right, so it was here. Scroll up, up, up. Give me a minute. I'm scrolling up. All right, so I see your hand. I know you didn't give me $1 for that. Here we go. So Shadika says, funny story, if I can share. I started my enlistment in 2023 and I found out at MEPS I was pregnant. So I was placed on maternity. Fast forward now, I had him and now I'm ready to, I don't have to read. No. So both your ASVAB and your medical exam are good for 2 years. The only thing that you're going to need to do is, what I would recommend is go to your OBGYN or your regular primary and get a negative test result for pregnancy, and then do what we call an inspect. Once the inspect is done, they'll clear and close out your medical, and then you can begin the, if you're otherwise eligible, of course, continue your enlistment process with your recruiter. Outstanding. All right, so I'm just scrolling back up to where I last left off. So, uno momento, por favor. You're very welcome, Shadika. Oh, hang on. When you said second, was there another message that I missed, Shadika? Excuse me as I scroll back up to where I last left off. Here we go. Yes, please. Oh, so I did miss something? No, I don't see anything else. I think we're good. All right, I think we're good. If I miss something, repost a comment so I don't have to scroll back and try to look for it. All right, so Panda Lover. Are there many sharp cases? So I haven't looked at the statistics to see if it's been reducing or increasing. I'll put it to you this way. For those of you that don't know what SHARP is, SHARP, and I believe it's the Sexual Harassment Assault Reporting Program, I think is what the P stands for, but it's about our zero tolerance for sexual harassment and sexual assault, and our ability to report it as a restricted or unrestricted report. And to let you know on whether or not it helps or not, it definitely helps. And there has been a recent change that I need to look into where it's being, SHARP is now moving to I want to say a third party, which is great. Whether or not it's civilian or not, I'm not really sure. SHARP is a great program for what it is. And there's a lot of room for growth and improvement is the key word, the operative word I want to say. Because in my opinion, when it comes to SHARP programs, I don't think that it should be unit led. I think that it should be done by a third party so that there's no bias involved in it. Because some commands, as we can see with the Michelle Guillen and some other cases that have made it to the media, it's a flawed program. It's a great program, but there's still room for improvement. I think it's trending in the right direction and it'll eventually be even better, but so when it comes to sexual harassment and assault, being in the military is no different than the corporate world or any other organization that's out there. We probably have a program that's more enforced than any other program with more protections involved and stuff, but there's always room for improvement. And that's what I have to say about that. Oh, okay. Thank you, Shadika. Mahina, we will speak offline about that. I see your question here. You're supposed to take the ASVAB on Monday. So, you're already scheduled and started the process with your current recruiter. But we'll definitely talk offline. I'll be more than happy to help you with that recruiter. I don't want to steal you from another recruiter if you've already began the process. If you had just sat down for a brief conversation, that'd be a different story. But out of respect to the other recruiter, I'm not going to steal you. But we'll definitely talk offline, okay? Anakin Skywalker says, my question was, after OSA, do you go to your first duty station or go home and do normal training? So Anakin Skywalker, are you going National Guard or active duty? I forgot. Let me know. Jose says, I just just subscribed to the live stream because I'm in the process of joining. Already commented on having trouble with algebra, but I feel like infantry doesn't use it much. I hear you. And I believe you need I think they dropped the score down to something like a 77 for infantry. So you gotta understand that, well, if you watch my ASVAB video, it explains the ASVAB in more detail, but the overall grade for the most part has nothing to do with qualifying for jobs. You just have to have the qualifying line score for the job. And if I remember correctly, infantry 11 Bravo was reduced to a 77. Whatever the line score is for that, I think it was reduced to 77. So as long as you're within 5 points of that, 77 to 82, you'll be good. Jahil said, I thought they would allow you to do basic training, but you'll have to test clean before going to your job. Not sure what this is about. I'm assuming it's about a drug test. Yes, you do need to have a clean drug test in order to be able to sign your contract. If you fail, then you have a minimum of a 90-day waiting period to then do a new drug test to then pass. And then we submit a moral waiver if and when approved, which it should get approved. That's the only test that you failed. And then you'll be able to sign your contract with that moral waiver. And again, if you are in the unit past your initial entry training, and then they find out later through a random drug test that you pissed hot in a drug test, it's up to your chain of command of whether they keep you and send you through a drug rehab program, or if they just automatically discharge you from the military, because we have zero tolerance for it. Zenny says, I like your detailed in-depth videos. For example, your what to know before basic training, as well as the what not to say, what to say to your drill sergeant video is really helpful. Well, Zenny, I appreciate that. And hopefully those who do watch that what to do and not to do to your drill sergeant get past that 50% mark of the video. Those of you that have seen it, if you know, you know. If you don't, you should go check it out. Hashtag I'm just saying. Panda Lover says some stories would be entertaining. All right, appreciate the feedback. Thank you. I'm definitely looking into doing that for sure. Joshua says, just read for the new chapter in my life. I've enjoyed it. Jumping is so fun. Just ready for my next career path. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Ryan says, going through the 09 Mike program, should I bring my ASVAB book to study? I would say, yeah, definitely bring it with you. For sure. I would definitely recommend, if that's what you want to do, bring it. They will have study material for you, an iPad or a tablet that you can also use to study as well. If you want to know what your day-to-day is going to be like, I did do a video, a comprehensive video on the 09 Mike program, talking about the academic portion of the training and the body fat composition improvement course. But since that recording, there have been some updates, like they've increased the body fat percentage to be allowed up to 8% to be able to join and go through that program. You can combine both programs and you will be treated like you're in basic training. It's no longer treated like a gentleman's course. So aside from that, everything else is still true and accurate. And again, in the video, I talk about your day-to-day activities and all that good stuff and some tips. Then he says, some of the videos were interviewed Joe Sarnes as well. Yes, I have. Yep, absolutely. And some of you the new interview. All right, I got you. Say less. Jahil Pope says, what if you've been in for 2 minor car accidents? What if you've been in 2 minor car accidents, did physical therapy, but no real damages? Then you should be, as long as it's been more than 6 to 12 months from the injury, then a medical waiver is quite possible. So if you haven't checked it out already, check out my medical waiver guide right here so you can set yourself up for success and understand the process. William Cortez says, I want to thank you for all the information you have offered over the years. I returned from basic training in January. I am now attending traditional CS for the California Army National Guard. Hell yeah. Congrats. Hopefully we'll be saying sir in the very near future. So make the best at the next opportunity to earn your gold bar. And appreciate you being a longtime viewer of the channel and for your kind words. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the feedback with the stories. I'm definitely looking at how I could integrate storytelling into my videos to make them a little bit more engaging and entertaining while still maintaining the information. Gerardo Alas says, thank you. Another question. If I ask to familiar to bring me a familia, I think is what I think you meant, like family, to bring me a bag on family day, what bag would be searched like the one I bring the base? The drill sergeants will go through your stuff. Yes, for sure. Make sure you don't have any contraband, but you can keep it as long as it's acceptable stuff that's inside the bag. Zenny says, I keep seeing 09 Mike talked about. What is that about? Also agreed, Army stories are always cool. Appreciate that feedback. So yes, the 09 Mike program. So understand this, that if you don't score a 31 or better on the ASVAB test, and or you're more than 2% over your maximum allowable body fat per your age and gender, you would normally be permanently disqualified until you meet the standards. So due to the recruiting crisis for the past few years, at least for the Army as a whole and the rest of the military, the Army decided that due to the obesity epidemic of the country and the school systems lacking in good quality education, the Army decided to take matters into their own hand and create a program that you could do one or both to improve your test scores as an unqualified applicant, provided that you scored at least a 21 or better on the ASVAB, or you need a little help to lose weight. So we decided to help you guys, pay you guys, and get you fit to get yourself qualified. So the video that you can watch in more detail will be right here if you want to check that out. JG, appreciate that. Thank you very much. Hansier Rodriguez says, thank you for everything that you do. Appreciate you. Thank you. I've learned so much from your channel. Quick question. Does state OCS for National Guard for New Jersey and New York start around the same time every year? Not sure when it starts for New Jersey, but for us, phase 0 is before May. And I believe in May, June timeframe is when phase 0 starts for the New York Army National Guard. And then, yeah, I think phase 0 is leading up to May, and in June would be phase 0, the official start date of OCS, and you graduate August of the following year. That's how it works in New York. I did a video about it here. Z Williams says, can I get in if my final disposition is dismissed with no form of guilt? If it was, well, it depends on what the charge is, but for the most part, if it's outright dismissed without prejudice, then it's like it never happened. And we as recruiters will do what we call a suitability review. And those are usually same day turnaround, if not by the next day, and good to go for enlistment. Zustin says, prior service Marine that hit you up a while ago asking about whether to be a cook or not, went to MEPS, and the doc who evaluated me said I'm likely to get a waiver for, oh yeah, we talked about that. Mahina says, had floaters for 12 years ago and had a hole in my retina. I didn't know I had it fixed, but wasn't diagnosed with anything. That's another, oh yeah, we talked about that. Kevin says, I've had eye floaters for decades, no serious problems. They just get checked out by an ophthalmologist to make sure. Good to go. JG says, so if you're popped hot for THC and didn't get kicked out, are you still a no-go at MEPS when you re-enlist, or should I say try to enlist? So as long as you haven't had it documented after the fact through criminal records or through your medical records, then no waiver will be required. So what happens is when you get discharged from the military, whatever waiver you obtained at time of enlistment moving forward, as long as nothing has changed, then you'll be like grandfathered in. All right. I'm not really sure to your unique circumstances if it happened when you were in the unit or like at MEPS when you're first joining. All right. Two very different scenarios, but going for a pre-accession MEPS medical drug and alcohol test, if you failed it then and you got a moral waiver for it, as long as it wasn't documented medically or criminally after that date, then you're grandfathered in, no waiver again when you come back into service, if that makes sense. Fire mission to brighten up the chat. Any second lieutenant versus command sergeant major interactions. Not that I'm aware of, but they're entertaining to watch for sure. Ho says, I'm in the process of joining as well. I just need help, a little bit of some advice, because I'm feeling like I don't understand why infantry need to use algebra. It's just part of the process, probably due to like map reading and some other things that are involved, but it is what it is. Stop questioning the why and just execute. Start learning, start getting better, and just take initiative and do what you need to do to get in. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, I hate math. I suck at it. In fact, I don't even do it in public. True story. During COVID, they would read stories online on their Zoom sessions, and like the bulk of like the real math and everything that they did was like taught by me after the fact. So I was like, I could read stories with her, like, you should be teaching her math, whatever, but I completely forgot about equal than and greater than or less than. And there was a stupid picture of some horses and horses in a barn, and the question was, there are 3 horses outside the barn and at least 1 or more horses inside the barn, how many in all? And I remember asking my daughters, like, what are we doing here? Like, what is this? Like, I don't understand what's going on. What do you think the answer is? And she's like, I don't know, Daddy. Now I forgot how old she was at the time, but she was like 5 to between 6 and 8, I think. And I think she was in 3rd grade at the time, 2nd or 3rd grade. And I remember writing in the paperwork, tell me how many horses are inside the barn and we'll be able to tell you the answer. And I look at my daughter and I'm like, we're going to fail math, baby girl. Told you I suck at math. And then my office partner told me about the equal than or greater than. So I'm turning red right now, probably because I'm so embarrassed by this, but true story. But yeah, that was really embarrassing. Mahina says, no, it wasn't detached. I would have been completely blind if that was the case. It was just a hole. Doctor fixed it 12 years ago. I'm fine. You should be fine then. That's probably an easy fix. Kai Kazar, I'm gonna come back to you because I just got something else from Shadika. Appreciate you. Thank you very much for the super sticker chat. Not sure if you meant to have a additional question attached to that. Let me scroll up and find out. Up, okay. It's fine, you explained it. Is there something else that I missed? Then you said, yes, please. Thanks. Second. Did I miss your question or something? Because I'm not seeing anything else in the chat. Let me see on my iPad, see if I see anything else that I may have missed scrolling on my computer. Yeah, I'm sorry, Shadika. I'm not seeing it on my end. Any new messages that I may have missed. I apologize. But I do appreciate you supporting the channel for sure. Light bulb question. I'm not seeing a light bulb question. Could you repost your question? Wait like 5 more seconds. All right, please repost your question so I don't have to go look for it because I can't find it. It's not obvious to me where it is. I'm maybe overlooking it or something, but I don't see it for whatever reason. Kaikazar, all right, thank you for your advice. I've had them for about 2 years now and no pain just suddenly appeared one day back in 2023. But yeah, I will most definitely take your advice on that. Thank you. You're very welcome. Hey, JR Creations, what's going on? What's up? What's up? Shadika, you said I just did. All right, so is your question your statement about light bulb question? Because I'm not seeing any questions about a light bulb. Please clarify for that. Please clarify that for me. Appreciate you. Jonathan Batista says I'm swearing into the Army National Guard tomorrow. Ooh, a freaking Luya. Hell yeah. Shake It Up says no, be extremely detailed. Gotcha. That's what they say, but I get complaints about my videos being too long. That's what my analytics tell me. O says I'm aiming for 11 Bravo Charlie. Want to be like my dad. That's a good reason, or a good reason to want to be 11 Bravo and Charlie. Family history, legacy. Absolutely, I support that. JR Creation says I tagged you on a TikTok video of the 09 mic program. A lot of people like it, but then a lot of others telling folks not to do it. I want to make a video, but not sure how to go about it. What are your suggestions? Reach out to me on Instagram or TikTok, and maybe we can chat about it over the phone tomorrow and take it from there. Find out what you want to do. Or maybe I can talk about your experience on my channel and just blur out your face so that nobody can identify you and you can speak freely. What do you think? Let me know what you think in the chat box. Justin says, also, I apologize. I didn't realize you were a sir and not a sergeant. No, I'm a sergeant, but here I'm just Lewis. You can call me sir if you want, because I'm a civilian here. I'm just Lewis. Do you have any information on 12 Yankee? I do not, but I hear it's a great MOS. Z Williams says, can you get a waiver if your charge misdemeanor were dismissed during pretrial? Yes, as long as you were either proven guilty or was dismissed because DA declined to prosecute, or speedy dismissal because you obviously weren't guilty or whatever. But as long as you were, it was outright dismissed with no prejudice, then you're good to go. A suitability review would be submitted by your recruiter same day, not next day. Turn around and you're good to go to join if you're otherwise eligible to join. Hansier Rodriguez says, what does pre-OCS look like? What could one expect from pre-OCS drills? Pre-OCS drills is going to be a lot of land navigation, some PT, going through all your equipment, make sure you have everything you need for training. You're going to go over op orders and things of that nature. It's basically just prepping you for things that students will probably struggle with during the OCS program. I hear that. The Reasonable Texan says, I'm hopefully enlisting as a combat medic. I was told that my previous medical experiences, associate's degree in respiratory therapy and certifications, I would enlist as E3, maybe E4. Is that true? If the civilian acquired skills program, if you get accepted for that, it's a possibility, and it would be E4, not E3. But associates in general would be E3, private first class. But if you are approved through the civilian acquired skills program, then it's possible that that will definitely get you promoted to specialist D4 despite not having a 4-year degree. So look into that civilian acquired skills program called ACASP coming into the chat box. That's what you want to ask your recruiter. Now, I'm doing some major overtime tonight because wifey is not around at the moment. So as soon as she comes home, I'm going to have to bounce like a rubber bouncy ball from the quarter slot machine. FYI, just letting you know. FYSA for your situational awareness. Ryan A says, I have a master's degree. Should I go for officer or enlist to get my foot in the door and then commission? Like I say in this video here, you can check it out. In my opinion, yes. I can see the benefits of going enlisted first, so you have empathy for the enlisted soldiers. But to make it easier for you to actually go and become an officer, because the video will share with you that once you're in as enlisted, you have to be recommended by an officer. And for the reasons I shared in the video, it may not happen for you. So my recommendation is, if you qualify for OCS now, go through the recruiting command and go that route. If not, then you have to do it later. Hang on 1 second. Maria says, I was on medication for anxiety for 1 year. How long do I have to be off my medication to start basic training? Would be 6 months possible. No, anxiety usually comes with a 24-month stabilization period of being off of medication, but you could always get your records and submit it and see what happens. But the last guidance we got was ADHD is 6 months. Anxiety would be 24 months, 2 years. But again, everyone's different. So it really depends on your record, dosage, and all that good stuff. So get with a recruiter, submit it, and see what happens. That's what my recommendation would be. Maya says, that means that I'd have to do MEPS and ASVAB again. No. Well, if it's more than 2 years ago, then yes. JR Cree, oh yeah, we spoke about that. Yes, I'm seeing your messages. I'm just behind schedule as usual because I'm so detailed. And it pisses you guys off sometimes, or at least the new ones that don't know I'm working from the oldest to the newest. Maria says, I talked about that. Zenny says, making me nervous about basic training. I know it's stressful, but some people say it's not that hard. I don't know what to believe. It's not that hard. We make it more challenging than it really is in most cases, but as long as you can take at being yelled at and you can follow directions, then it's really not that hard. It really is what you make of it, honestly. Bebop says, does my political view disqualify me from the Army? Public view and stuff like that, yes. You cannot be in service and publicly voice your opinion on politics and certain things, at least not in uniform. And if you are in uniform on any one platform and you post something like that, you can get yourself into trouble and possibly discharged for it. So you can have any political view that you want and have private discussions with whomever, but it's just not public. Hopefully that makes sense. Zenny says, any advice to help my family get more comfortable with my choice to enlist? They're wanting me to do Air Force, Navy because they see it as safer, but I want the Army grit, tenacity. Well, there are inherent risks in anything that you do within the military or certain career paths that you choose throughout life, but I'll put it to you this way. If you're on a Navy ship and the ship goes down, you go down with it. If you're deployed overseas, what do you think the first locations are going to be? Airstrips and communications, ammo depots, and things of that nature. So there are risks involved wherever you're at and whatever you do. So I think it's this video. Oh. I think it's this video. Here we go. This one is for parents that don't support your decision to serve. Video coming into the chat box. Definitely go check that out if you're still here, Zenny. I'm not sure what the first word is, but says, hey, Sergeant, got my medical interview on May 1st. I am 208 pounds, 6 feet. Do you think that? No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Fire Mission says, got out in 2003. I want to know how I can find my old Army photos of me. You're not going to be able to find them, unfortunately. What should I do to pass medical? Be honest with your recruiter and complete your medical pre-screen, and your recruiter will let you know if you qualify or not and what to expect from that point forward. We'll definitely talk offline, Mahina. Oh, I see. You're in Canada. Well, you have to be living in the United States and be at least a resident holding a green card, or have obtained your permanent residency and maybe waiting for your green card to come in the mail. JG says, what are your thoughts on the John Chapman Medal of Honor situation and the ISR contradict the Navy SEALs report? I don't know anything about it to say anything about it, unfortunately. JR Creations, yes, I am seeing these. I'm just way behind schedule. Zenny says, answer questions in order. I'll be backed up because super chats and not be patient. Oh yeah, there we go. Yes, please be patient. Shipping March 31st, but I'm overweight by 10 to 15 pounds since my original MEPS date. Will my whole contract be void? Do I ship out next? So if you're more than 2% over your maximum allowable body fat per your age and gender at the time that you go to ship, they will cancel your ship date. Wait until you are within accordance to regulation, and then they'll reschedule you for training from that point forward. So eat less and move more and drink more water. Zenny says, I know a soldier that got a sharp case popped hot for THC and investigated for paying for some fun overseas. I'm determined to be a better soldier than that guy, for sure. And I'm sure you will. JG says, sharp isn't the issue. It's too much relaxing of standards that leads to unnecessary fraternization, and often from working with sharp, a lot of victims, friends, fellow soldiers know and they do nothing. I do have some thoughts on this, but I think I'll have to do like a dedicated video on it. But it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and it's not being nipped in the butt faster, and it just festers into something worse. Just like the Sharp video talks about, is when people don't say nothing to include the victim, it just progresses and gets worse, you know? Fire Mission, as I previously described, unfortunately, there's no way to find old DA photos that I'm aware of anyway. Francis Tremblay says, can I ask you a question? I have a medical interview on May 1st. Don't know if I passed the exam. Oh yeah, we already talked about that. You're good to go. Maria says, talked about that. Ryan A says, thank you so much for doing these webinars. Is there a way we can get videos that you added in the chat after the webinar ends? So when my live streams end, they remain on the channel. So if you just look up 2024 or 2025 live streams, I think is what it's called on my channel. Let me check. So if I go to the channel, yeah. So you go to my channel, you click on live, and you'll see all my videos. So far this calendar year, I have 8 episodes loaded, and you can definitely watch them. And on episode 4, I live stream with ERICKA Burney, who is an active duty recruiter. Maria says, oh, you talked about that. So JG says, popped hot in an isolated incident and was supposedly on a year probation, during which I finished my first contract, extended, and then re-enlisted for 3 years before officially ending contract. So as long as you ended on good terms, then you should be fine. And you may need a waiver, but because it was during your service and you were in good standing, then you should be fine. And Atkin says, I got busy, but my question was OSA. I am going National Guard. I forgot what your question was. Oh, National Guard. And yeah, so once you graduate from OSA, you're going to go straight home. And depending on what your state does, you'll either go to one more RSP drill, or you will be taken to your unit of assignment at some point within a week or two of you returning to in process and battle handoff to your unit. And then you're going to follow their drill schedule from that point forward. Easy Life says he's trying to get me in, and I'm super grateful for submitting my package this week. And I'm currently waiting to see if it gets approved, which I truly believe I will. Just wanted your expertise. Awesome. No worries. Hopefully you passed everything, Gabriel. Outstanding. Great job passing it. Jonathan Hernandez says, Dímelo, hashtag Team SWARTZ from Puerto Rico. Passed ASVAB and medical this week with 33 years old, going to basic training in May, 6 month, 35. That's what I'm talking about. Any tips for basic training AIT? Yes, in this video. Those are the best ways. And then watch my basic training mini series. Just ignore the COVID references because all the training is still the same minus the COVID information. Shake It Up says, what is the healthy weight for 5'5" female in the Army? I'm 150 now. I used to be 260. Wow, that's a huge improvement. Congratulations. That's real hard work that you did. So that's what's up. I'm struggling to lose 20 pounds. So that's amazing. But yeah, so 5'5" is probably around 125 to 135 would be like to pass normal height and weight for your height. I'm not sure how old you are. Your body fat is probably under normal circumstances authorized around, well, as a new person joining, 32 to 34% body fat. Again, I'm not sure how old you are. So, but yeah, you should possibly pass at 150, depending on your measurements. Ricky says, if my only option is state OCS, would it be better to just go ROTC if I want a master's and prefer active duty? Yeah, if that's your end goal, then yeah, wait until you start your 2-year master's program in the fall and do ROTC, and then that way you can commission into active duty. But you're gonna have to start in the Guard or Reserve to do ROTC if you want to be a soldier during that time frame, if that makes sense. Sounds good to me. Gabriel says, I'm enlisting for National Guard, but I got a 33 in the ASVAB. Was wondering if I could get like a trade or MOS. Well, it's depending on your line score. So if you watch this video, I'll walk you through the Excel sheet that's linked down in the description that you will open up in Google Sheets. And that will help you research the MOSs that you're pre-qualified for solely on the test results and not using any of the other filters that I talked about in that video. And I talked to you about how to research them through YouTube and Google search. I am 42 Alpha qualified, and it's a great MOS if you like being indoors. Reasonable Texan, you're very welcome. JR Creations says, sorry for all the messages. Thought mine were getting blocked for a word I might have used. No worries. I'm not upset. Shake It Up says, we need long videos to learn more about. Good stuff. Everything. Shake It Up says, sorry, 146.4, 5'5" female. How old are you? Shake It Up. Epic Log, I ship out more next time. Ship out to Fort Moore, which is now back to Fort Benning next month. And I've heard a group runs 6:30 pace. Is that about right? If you're in the Alpha group, then yeah. It's by your runtime. Zenny says, also, of course, I'm still here, so I ain't got nothing better to do than research Army stuff. LOL. That's what I'm talking about. JG says, can you request Airborne Ranger School or Aerosol after OSA in the Guard? Yeah, they'll more than likely offer you that at the training site. Just make sure that you're over 500, preferably over 530 points on the Army Combat Fitness Test. in order to have any skin in the game of them possibly offering it to you while you're there. Abby Hirschberger, this is the first time that I saw your name in here. I'm going to scroll back up just in case. BFP, I don't know what that is, but you probably have a word or phrase that I have blocked for whatever reason, because I'm not seeing your name anywhere else in the stream. I'm scrolling way back. I'm not seeing your name anywhere in here. Yeah. Do me a favor, repost it, and if I see it, I'll let you know. How do they measure body fat percentage? Oh, gotcha. For females, oh man, it's been a minute. I can't remember if it's the waist or if it's the hips. It recently changed, and I haven't had any females taped in a while. If you direct message me on Instagram, I'll verify. I don't want to give you bad information, but it's either the hips or the shortest or the smallest part around your waist. But if you direct message me on Instagram, I'll be more than happy to double check that tomorrow and let you know. You're very welcome. Doing my best here. Hashtag Team Swords. I love it. JR Creation says, but yes, I am down for whatever route you have time for. No worries. Appreciate you. They do it, but height and weight. Okay. Shadika says, do I still have to do 0 to 9 mic even though I have 32 specialist? What does 32 SPC mean to you, Shadika? I'm not following. So it is around the waist. There you go. And where is she? Abby Hirschberger. If you do direct message me, I do have the link that if you measure yourself properly, you can calculate your own body fat. Oh, Sophia Credit, I got you. Here's the video that talks all about it with the links and everything that you'll need to know about it in this video coming into the chat box just for you. He's in the Massachusetts National Guard now, I believe. I'm not sure where he is in that process. He's probably still doing a lot of that training right now if he's still in the pipeline. But if you watch this video, if you have questions about Special Forces, these are 2 recruiters in Colorado Army National Guard Special Forces, and one of them still being an operator in Special Forces. So definitely go reach out to them if you have Special Forces questions. Gabriel says, just by your experience on recruiting, could you give me the top 5 MOSs for National Guard with a 33 ASVAB score? Not really trying to go 11 Bravo. I hear you, but it's not by the score, it's by your line score. So check out the video and plug in your line scores, open it up in Google Sheets and figure out what you qualify for, research it, and figure out what you prefer that you will want to do within the Army. You got it. Zenny says, do enlisted soldiers still get treated as human at least? I was watching your video where you suggested that you learn drill and ceremony steps prior to basic and have wording frequent. Nah, you'll be all right. It's just character development. But yeah, do as much as you can to prepare yourself for basic training and you'll be fine. Like subordinate element and stuff. Basic training, everyone is equally worthless and you will go through shit and you'll become and earn that title of a United States soldier. You're not human. You're a trainee. Hell yeah. Shadiq says, do you still have to do 0? Hang on. Do I still have to do 0 on mic after getting a 27 on ASVAB and then a 32 on Sophia Credit? Oh, yeah. So one has nothing to do with the other. So if you have not graduated from high school, you have a GED, or you don't have a GED or a high school diploma, you get the Sophia credits to convert into college credits to satisfy the education needs to be able to join and to go through the program, because a GED holder cannot go through the 09 mic program. Getting a 27 on the ASVAB test means that you failed the ASVAB, but you are within the range of 21 to 30 to qualify for the 09 mic program. So hopefully that helps clarify your misunderstanding with the 09 mic program and the education requirements. Arma says, oops, comes down to your GT score. No, it's not just your GT score. It's MOS specific. And it's not always the GT. But yes, GT and ST can play a good role in quite a few MOSs, but it's MOS specific. I just PCS from the 101st to first cav, now on my 3rd year. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. Thank you for your service. Zenny says, understood. I'll just keep my head down and eat the dirt. For sure. JR Creation says, I can share my experiences with basic training AIT if you like when we talk about the 09 experience. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. And yes, thank you. Awesome. Well, everybody, it is now 21:46 hours. My wife is not home yet, but we finally made it to the end of the list. So I appreciate you. Went 45 minutes and change overtime. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the questions and all that good stuff. And with that being said, if you have any additional questions, you can always reach out to me on Instagram. I do have OCD, so I will only open up the messages when I have time to genuinely respond. If I take more than a day or two to respond, I will open it up and let you know that I see it and that I'll respond as soon as possible, but I always get to you. But I leave it unopened on purpose so that it reminds me to go back and to be able to address your questions. Or you can comment underneath the video as a regular comment, and I'll get to you within the next day or so. Appreciate you guys. Much love. Stay blessed. Be good. And see you next week. Ooh, freaking Team Swartz.